What's up, everybody? It's Ty with Montana Outlaw Barbecue. Welcome back to our YouTube channel. Thanks again for tuning in and joining us. Today is the first in our Versus series, and on today's one, we're going right to the top. I've got a Snake River Farms Eye of Ribeye versus a choice ribeye steak that we picked up at the grocery store. We're gonna talk about value, taste, and tenderness to see, is it really worth spending almost $100 on this steak? Or can you go down to your local grocery store and pick one up and make it taste just as good? So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna explain to you a little bit about the cut that we're gonna be cooking today in our Versus Challenge. This right here is a Snake River Farms Eye of Ribeye. I cut this off of the Eye of Ribeye roast. If you're interested in finding out more about it, follow the link down below. You can buy the whole roast there. Because it's not a readily available or typical cut of a steak, what I have over here is I went down to a local grocery store, I got a choice grade bone-in ribeye roast. I'm gonna go ahead and trim this up so that we have a side-by-side comparison. Typically, if you were just gonna cook the ribeye bone-in roast, you wouldn't do any of the trimming that I'm about to do, but I wanna make sure that if we're gonna do it side by side, we're gonna cook the same thing. So we've got our ribeye steak here that we picked up at the local grocery store, all trimmed up now to where we just have the eye of the ribeye. So let's talk real quick about our initial appearance or initial feelings on these steaks. We'll start with the Snake River Farms. Obviously, the first thing that jumps out to us is the amount of marbling that's in this steak. It's very typical of a Snake River Farms product. The second thing is the color. It's good, deep, rich color. It's not anemic, it's not pale. I think that's gonna add a richness to the meat, and it's also gonna be a tenderness. And then the overall feel of that steak. It's firm, it's got structure. As we cook it out, that marbling, that soft fat's gonna render out, should leave us with a really, really good mouthfeel on that steak. Let's jump over here to our choice one that we picked up from the grocery store. First impression obviously is the lack of marbling compared to the Snake River Farms. There is some marbling in here, just not nearly as much. The fat on the outside is still good white fat. I think that's gonna be fine. Deep, rich colors there. I think it's gonna have good flavor at that point. Not as much as this, obviously, because of the lack of marbling, but where it really falls behind is the structure of the meat. You can see as I push in, doesn't have that fatty structure in there. I think that's gonna hurt it in its mouthfeel, but I'm very interested to see as we cook this out, is there enough value in this Snake River Farms product for us to say, yes, it's worth going and buying a high-end steak versus what you can pick up at your local grocery store? That's what we're here to decide today, so we can help you make that decision when you go out and try and pick up steaks to impress family and friends. So we've got the Gateway drum smoker rolling out there, nice and hot. If you want to know how we cook a steak over charcoal, make sure you follow that link above and we'll show you exactly how we do it. So I'm excited about our first Versus video here. I'm excited to share this with you, the fans, and help you make that decision on what steak to cook. So for the purpose of today's video, we're gonna keep the seasoning super simple. We're just gonna put on a very light coat of our beef rub. Nice and easy, both sides. We wanna give the meat an opportunity to shine, so we're not gonna over season these products. If you have any questions about how to season, go back and check out that how-to video. So we're just gonna hit them with a really light coat. Initially, both really not a lot of difference in how they're absorbing the seasoning right out of the gate. Okay, so we've seasoned our steaks. We're gonna let them rest for 15 minutes. We got the grill going hot. We're up around 400 degrees. We want these to cook quick. Make sure you come back and watch when we bring the final steaks in, where we taste them and we compare whether the value's there in the Snake River Farm steak versus a choice one you can pick up at your local grocery store. Welcome back, everybody. We're excited to share this experience with you. Brought the comedy with me this time, so be prepared to be entertained. We spent about 20 minutes cooking these steaks. We've got our Snake River Farms prime eye of ribeye steak here, and we've got our choice grade ribeye steak over here that we've trimmed down. Right out of the gate, initial cook thoughts. This one was a little bit thinner, but it cooked a lot faster. I tried to pull these each as close to 130 degrees as possible. We did give them about a 5-minute rest as well. So I'm excited to slice these open, see what they look like on the inside after the cook, and then see what they taste like. I guess the only other thing is we did cook them at 400 degrees over the charcoal, Royal Oak charcoal on the Gateway drum. So we got a little bit of a smoky flavor, but again, super simple on the rub. So, all right. So I guess looking at them here, Rick, do you have any initial thoughts compared the two?
Well, if I looked at these two steaks, this one looks like you might see at your neighborhood steakhouse, like a Sizzler or something. And this is more of a high-end steak, obviously by looking at it.
All right. When was the Sizzlers around?
Oh, maybe before you were born.
I haven't heard of the Sizzler in a while. Wow. All right. I guess I'll jump in and say my thoughts. Right out of the gate, it looks like this one is substantially juicier. There is more juice puddling on top as opposed to this one. So let's cut them open. Let's see what we got. We'll do some comparison. We're gonna start first with the Snake River Farm. Let's pull it open, see what we got. We got a kind of a really good, nice medium cook there. Really juicy. I guess we'll zoom in on this one for you. I mean, again, you can see the juice is just coming out of that one. Really, really juicy there. That one, it cut just like it was really buttery. That one cut pretty easy too. We're seeing, again, a nice medium cook. Pretty juicy. I do want to note, look at the difference in the strands of the meat there versus the strands of the meat here. How this one seems to have this, the strands are a little wider, they're a little thicker. This one's still pretty tight. So those are kind of my initial reactions as we cut in. Now let's go ahead and do a side-by-side taste and see what we got. Yeah, let's try to see
it. I'm anxious to taste it.
All right. So we got Snake River Farms over here.
Let's try this one first.
Okay. Okay.
Let's give it a try here. Man. That's pretty darn tender. Look at that.
Come pulled apart nice.
That's really good. I mean, I would not say that was a poor piece of meat at all.
No. Overall, pretty tender. Good flavor. Maybe not as much natural beef flavor as I would hope for.
Yeah, it's it's a good steak. Well, I can taste the smoke. I can taste the rubs in this. A lot of beefy flavor. I mean, it is good. It's juicy. I mean, I can't complain now. I mean, that's a good piece of steak.
I guess I wish it was a little bit thicker, but that's just a butcher cut that way. But overall, absolutely nothing wrong with that steak if you're gonna cook that at home. So now let's try the Snake River Farms. As I cut it, there is a difference in how easy this one cuts versus that one. And you know, I guess worth noting on my piece right here, you can even see that marbling still. It might be hard to see on your guys' end, but you can see where the pink of the cooked meat, the medium, runs into kind of a off-white shoot. You can see that, and that's that marbling in there. As we pull that apart, I mean, it pulls apart a little tighter, I would say, than that one.
Oh yeah? Wow. This is significantly better than this one. The flavors are more intense. I mean, I get the smoke flavor, but it's not overbearing. And the mouthfeel is just much crisper and, I mean, tender.
Yeah.
And yeah, there is a significant difference.
I would say the smoke isn't as prominent in this one. I think this one absorbed a little bit more of it. So I would say the smoke's maybe a little bit more prominent in the choice one. I don't know if that's because the marbling doesn't allow the smoke to penetrate quite as much. It's still got a very nice subtle smoke flavor,
right.
But the beefiness for me, the beefiness is so much more. It's so over the top, and it's unbelievably tender, just like melts in your mouth, tender. If I was going out to a steakhouse, this is what I would expect to eat. I mean, we're talking a good prime steakhouse. I would expect to have something like this.
You know, or a special family dinner. This would certainly be over the top. I mean, it is worlds of difference.
Yeah.
But I mean, this is still a presentable steak for sure. But this is a memory, and this is just a good steak.
I think at the end of the day for me, in this versus contest, you can take a good steak, a choice steak, at your local butcher shop, apply a minimal amount of rub to it, and cook it properly, like we've done here, and it can be a good steak to serve for a weeknight meal. If you want something that's over the top, that's spectacular, that you can cook the exact same way, it's just on a whole different flavor profile, a whole different level as far as quality of cut, you gotta go with something like the Snake River Farms Wagyu product. We wanted to talk about value of it. Is the value there in a higher cost steak like this versus steak there? Rick, I'm gonna throw it to you first. What are your thoughts on that? If we look at the value of the cost of this steak.
I mean, I think the value is there. Obviously, it's not a steak you'd eat every day. I mean, it's a steak that, like I say, there again, I'm gonna repeat myself, it's a memory, it's a family reunion, it's a wedding rehearsal, whatever. This is your steak. This is a steak, you went out to dinner downtown, you go to a steakhouse anywhere and you say, well, that's a pretty good steak. And you would accept it as that.
Right.
But if you want something over the top, that is what it is. And obviously there's a price difference there, and that's what you get.
Yeah, I'm gonna say the value is there in this one because I think it's worth, the money is worth every bite that you get out of this. If you can afford it, you gotta cook this every opportunity you can. But if you are on a budget, you can get a good steak with a choice grade at your local butcher shop.
Good.
But I've never once not been impressed with a Snake River Farm product, and today is no different. There's absolutely impressive steak over here that will leave people wanting more and coming back for seconds.
And they're consistent. They're like
So
that
consistent.
every time you get one from Snake River, it's gonna be exactly like that.
Right. Thanks again, everybody, for tuning in for this of our first Versus series. Again, we want to hear from you, the fans. Leave a comment down below on what you want to see us compare in our next video. It could be a type of cooker, it could be a protein. What do you want to see? Leave that comment down below. We always enjoy those. Make sure you hit the bell, hit the subscribe button. You don't want to miss anything that we have coming up. Check out all our socials, Instagram, Facebook, and we're launching TikTok here pretty soon, so you'll see us more on there as well. Also, head over to our Pinterest. You'll see recipes and some blog posts on there, so make sure you check out that as well.
Well, we certainly want to thank all of our fans and our subscribers. We had a great, fun year in 2021. 22 is going to be busy. We're going to be all over the country competing and having appearances all over the United States, mostly in the South. So if you see us going to be in your area, follow us along on our social media. If we're going to be in your area, stop by and see us. We'd love to have visitors. And thank you for all your support.
Again, and I do want to remind you one last thing before we let you go. Make sure you tell all your friends, all your family members to hit the subscribe button on our channel, because this is a good reminder. At 1,000 subscribers, we're going to be giving away a brand new pellet grill.
And that will probably be within the next just couple months. So,
you're right. So thanks again for joining us here on Montana Outlaw Barbecue Channel. We'll see you next time.
See you, everyone.